So we finally did it. We took the plunge and we got the Tractive XL. It looks like this. So let's talk through my initial thoughts on this because we've been using it for, I'd say, about 48 hours now. And so far, I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm pretty happy with it. I would say my husband has thoughts, which I'll share. So for background, I bought this for Vigo because we're going away for a few days and we also have a holiday planned in August. And I wanted to make sure that if ever we leave him with someone, and God forbid anything happens, even if he's with us, that we have a way of tracking him down. So the great thing about Tractive, from what I understand, is that it is pretty good regardless of if you are in a city or if you're further out. Now, the reason why I got the XL version instead of the regular version is because of the battery life. I wanted to make sure that if ever we give Vigo to someone to take care of, I'm not going to have to ask them to charge this. And I think the standard version of the Tractive has a 7-day charge window. In August, we're going away for about like 2.5 weeks. This apparently stays charged for 19 days. I've just charged it to full capacity, so I'll let you know how that goes. What I love about it is that it's able to help me keep track of how active Vigo is, how much he sleeps, his sleep quality. And I think in particular, because I'm very mindful that he's a working breed, I want to make sure that he's getting the movement that he needs to be fulfilled. This brings me to my first kind of surprise, I guess, of the Tractive, which is that for some reason, I thought that it would measure activity in the same way that an Apple Watch does. I don't know why I thought this. I thought it would track steps. Now that I'm reflecting, I'm like, how would you do that with 4 legs? I thought maybe you would have to say, okay, we're going for a walk, or maybe it would know when you're walking and count that as activity. But that's not actually how the Tractive does it. From what I can tell, what it does is if you're doing any kind of movement within a minute, it counts that as an active minute. So that's how it keeps track of activity. Interestingly, you can set yourself a goal, and considering Vigo's now 6 months old, he should be doing an hour of exercise a day. So I put in 120 minutes and it said that was low. This was when I was first setting it up. I didn't realize why that would be considered low until I realized that, okay, every minute that he even walks into the kitchen or that we're doing training sessions, this is counting as activity, which makes sense, but also just wasn't what I was expecting, I guess. The minimum recommended range for Vigo was 180 minutes and the maximum was 300. That said, I think yesterday Vigo did about 400 and something minutes of activity. And bear in mind that we're living in Miami, it's very hot outside. So the walks that I do with him tend to be pretty short because he can't handle long walks. But we do a lot of training in the house. So we do get him to go to his crate and then go to his raised bed. And then I will do some recall in my bedroom and get him to run to me in the bedroom. So we do get him moving around. It's just, I think, such a cognitive dissonance for me to see that he's getting so much movement, but we're not leaving the house. Like my goal before was to say, okay, I want him to get 60 minutes of exercise outside a day. Whereas now I'm realizing he's actually getting a lot of movement inside. And that's not to say that I don't want to take him out or that I'm not going to continue taking him for walks. I 100% will. I know that it's very good for him to go for walks. It's just I feel less guilty if, for example, I take him for one walk in the night for like 20 or 30 minutes instead of aiming for a 30-minute walk in the morning and a 30-minute walk in the night. Honestly, it's been so hot in Miami that it's not safe for him to be out that long. Even if I go at night or in the morning, it's always above 80 degrees, which they say is kind of a dangerous zone for dogs in terms of risk of heat stroke. So again, it's just giving me a little bit of mental peace knowing that he's getting the physical movement that he needs. I was just surprised and wasn't expecting it to work like that. The app is pretty cool. It shows you like where he's been. It captures his sleep so we can see at night if he wakes up. During the day, if he's sleeping, it'll capture day sleep. It also captures calm periods during the day. So overall, I think it's really interesting to see kind of how he's doing in terms of his movement and his sleep. What I also love about it is that if, God forbid, he were to ever go missing, it actually has a little light on it here, which, let's say that he was in the dark and we knew we were broadly in the same area as him, I would be able to turn this light on and see where he is. Equally, it also has a little alarm. So I could put the sound on and this would beep and I would be able to, it would help me find him basically. I've shared access for the week to the 2 people who are helping us look after him while we're away for the Taylor Swift concert. And it's brilliant because it helps give me visibility as a helicopter mom into just making sure he's sleeping okay and getting the movement that he needs. But also it helps the people who are taking care of him. If anything were to happen, they can see where he is. And that was kind of one of the big drivers for us wanting to get this. Now for the negative. My husband in particular, and I kind of see where he's coming from with this, thinks that this is very big for Vigo. They said that this is made for dogs that are 40 pounds or over. Vigo is expected to be about 45 pounds. That's how big his father is. He should grow into it, but my husband thinks that this looks uncomfortable. I don't think it's uncomfortable for him. He seems totally cool wearing it, but my husband doesn't love it. He would have liked something smaller, even if it meant it did less. Whereas for me, I'm like all about the numbers. I love seeing how much activity Vigo's doing. I can see people in our neighborhood, how active their dogs are, and almost like try and climb the leaderboard of how active all of our dogs are. I think it's so cool. My husband just thinks it doesn't look very pretty and that it's too big. So those are our first impressions for the first 48 hours. I think all in all is about $240 for this plus the annual subscription, because you have to subscribe to Tractive for the GPS functionality. I think we'll see if it's worth it. I will do another review maybe in a few more weeks once we've had longer to try it out. But so far I've been quite happy with it. The only qualm, so to speak, is my husband's on the fence-ness about how it looks and how heavy it is. But let me know if you have any questions. Happy to share our experience with it. And if you've tried it, or if you're using a different tracker, let me know.